Good morning, guys. This is now take 3. The first two kind of went to shit pretty quickly. Just, the same thing that happens when you start a video. You've got people calling you. You've got a bloody little kelpie that insists on coming outside and knocking the camera over because he's a dick. But alright, take 3. We're going to get this done. It's going to be great. I apologize. There's a bit of a wind noise or something. We are outside. I'm just trying something a little bit different. At some point, I'm going to get my shit together and we're going to get a light box in here. But until that happens, we're kind of stuck doing this. Because I got to clean up the workshop and find a space where the light box is going to fit in. It's a whole thing. But anyway, let's just get stuck right into it before I bitch too much. Yeah, we're going to start off with some contenders. A design that a lot of you guys are familiar with. I've done quite a few of these in the past. And what I'm doing now with them is going to 154 cm as a steel. So 154 cm, it's a much finer grain steel. It's also a lot more stainless. I know D2 has got, I want to say 11% chromium. Don't quote me on that. I'm sure there's going to be some dickhead in the comments that's going to say it's 11.32%, whatever. But it's D2 is just under the point in chromium where it's not stainless. So you can get it to rust. I haven't seen it, but it is theoretically possible. But these ones are 154 or CPM 154, which is a heck of a lot more stain resistant. And it is also a much finer grain steel, so you get much crisper two-tones. So the belt finish satins on these are a lot nicer than the D2 ones. D2 you're going to sometimes have these weird little lines here, which is just the grain coming out. There's not really much you can do about that. And it's also the main reason you don't see a lot of mirror polished D2, because it just brings out that grain, which isn't all that attractive. But these are both 154. A steel I'm really liking recently just because it's so damn versatile. You can do pretty much anything to this stuff and it's going to take it like a champion. Like for instance CPM 10V, which is a steel I'm also playing around with. Your options with that are basically Cerakote and that's it, because everything else looks a little shitty because it just doesn't want to do anything. It doesn't want to acid wash, it doesn't want to do a two-tone on there. It's yeah, it's not all that cooperative. And 154 is pretty much the polar opposite because you can do almost whatever to it and it's going to be fine. So you got these two, nice shiny two-tones, rock patterns on there that just love this natural sunlight. But yeah, these are a nice little design. I quite like them. At the moment, they're actually my favorite little design to do, just because they're so versatile and they always look so damn cool with the two-tones on them. And it's a good excuse for me to practice my hollow grinding, which is another thing I really like about them because they are hollow grind. So that's those two. And I also did another one with a bit of a different finish on this. So I'm calling this the reverse contender. Let's get these out of the background because that looks shite. So I'm calling these the reverse contender. So I've only done the one of them right now. And the difference is, this one's got the finish in reverse. So everything this is acid stone washed and the tip is mirror polished. Which is just something I'm messing around with. I thought it was really cool. This one's also got a swedge on there, so you've got that weird little triangle up here, which gives us a little bit more of an effect. It's personally one of my favorite things to do in knife making, is just add little details like that. Because it just takes that knife to another level, really, if you can add those little details and mix it up a little bit. But besides that, it's pretty much like the rest of them. Oh, and this one's different, because I've been messing around with my polishing technique. And while I don't do mirror polished bevels, like full-on mirror polishes, I do like big mirror polished edges, which I do it in a different way. And the way I figured out is I can get a much crisper grind on these, like on these polishes. So it looks almost flawless. I'm sure if you're gonna look at it under a microscope, you'll see some grind lines, but to the naked eye, you can't see anything. So you've got this really nice polishing it on the tip with my new technique. And it's also screaming sharp, like bit of paper over here. Cut this side because the other side's got customer details on it. But now paper isn't exactly the hardest thing in the world to cut, but this thing is just nasty sharp. Dick shaving sharp, as I like to say. So yeah, that's that one. Let's put that aside before I lose it. So yeah, just some stuff I'm messing around with. Now, I've also done something new where I'm kind of introducing what I'm calling the shrapnel series. And the shrapnel series is just like this random bits of steel that I have. I don't want to call them offcuts because they're not really offcuts, but you know, when I'm cutting out a piece of steel, there's a lot of dead area that I like to fill up with random designs so I get the most amount of my steel. Because steel is expensive for like a sheet, like a, not a sheet, a bar of 154. It's probably about $100. So I want to get the most out of my $100 as I can. And these two are both Shrapnel series stuff. So we'll start off with the small one. So this is sort of like a sort of keychain design, what you can get, I guess you can say. And just something I was messing around with. And this one's got a rock pattern on there. And it is also collecting Kydex residue like crazy. But it isn't scratching, which is nice. I'm sure it will eventually if you drop it in sand or something, but at the moment it's all good. And this one's actually got a really, really thick bevel. A lot thicker than I normally do, just because of the design of this. It kind of has to be thick. So it's a lot stronger, I guess, than some of my other knives. It doesn't cut as nicely, but it is stronger. And then you've also got that really nice two-tone with the rock pattern and the polished peaks and the edge. Rounded off, chunky little thing. I think that's about 5mm. Nice simple knife. This is going to be on the website. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to charge for it yet because, while it is small, there's a shitload of work that goes into this, and then the heat treat cost and the abrasive cost. It stacks up quite quickly, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to price this at. I'll probably figure this out after the video, like normally. And the second one, which is one that I really like, it's my personal favorite when it comes to the Shrapnel series, is this one. So again, nice Kydex sheath, polished edges, all that good shit. And this one is kind of like your scalpel from hell, I guess you could say. You got that really nice polished bevel on this. Again, that's just something I'm fucking around with recently because it's a nice way to add a bit more contrast to a knife. But yeah, this one's got a really nice long handle on this. It's just something, I don't know, I just really like it. It's very much my taste in knives. This one had a couple times I refinished the blade because originally the logo was up here somewhere and it just didn't look right. So I moved it back here and put it at an angle to go with the grind. And you have a dog next door which does not want to shut the fuck up. So yeah, nice and thin, comes down to just a insanely thin little edge on this. So this thing is just an insane slicer. Take our scrap of paper here. Nice little cutter. Dick shaving sharp, of course. And then you've got that really nice mirror polished edge on there. And the thing about a mirror polished edge is that they can last a heck of a lot longer if you treat them right. Now a toothy edge works too, but the problem with the toothy edge is you've got these really fine little teeth on there that can easily be broken off or chipped off, and it's nowhere near as stable as a mirror polished edge, I found. So I like to mirror polish my edges. They might not cut as aggressively, but they last a shitload longer, which is more important to me really. But yeah, that's that one. Fits nice into the sheath, of course, mirror polished edges. What's up next? We have a cloaker. So this one's actually spoken for. This is for a guy who's been incredibly patient, and see, I think he lives on the other side of the city, so I don't know if he wants to come pick it up or not. I've got to ask him about that. But yeah, cloaker design, nice rock solid Kydex sheath, like usual. And this one's got sort of a basic finish for the cloakers anyway. So you've got the Acer stone washed blade, you've got the really nice high grind, somewhat thin, not as thin as some of my EDC knives, but definitely on the thinner side, so it's a nice little slicer. And this one's got the new-ish sort of pattern. I'm not quite sure what I call it yet, but it's kind of like a rock pattern, but stretched out and mixed with an Anzo pattern and made smaller, I guess you could say. Just a bit of everything going on this. And it gives you so many little angles. You can see all those little angles right there, which is one of my favorite things in knife making, is when you can have a bunch of intersecting angles. It gives you that really cool effect. Just gives you more to look at, really. Of course, nice chunky handle on this one. Good little slicer. And you have just a ridiculous amount of belly for slicing or for using on a cutting board. All that good shit. Rounded spine off and everything. There's one more of these that I have to make, but I think it's going to go to the Sydney Knife Show. And for those who don't know, there's a Sydney Knife Show coming up in 2 weeks on the 5th and 6th of August. I'm going to be flying up for that. So yeah, if you're in Sydney or if you're going to the show, come down to my table, I'll be there, and if I'm not there, there's going to be a friend of mine there who will call me and tell me to get my ass down to the table if you want to talk knives and all that shit. So yeah, that's that one. Get that back in its sheath before I forget. I can't tell you how many times I lose these fucking sheaths, because they vanish. Sheaths have this magical ability where you can put them down and they just disappear, and you'll spend an hour looking through the whole place and tearing out cabinets and shit looking for the damn thing. And this next knife doesn't have that issue because the customer specifically asked not to have a sheath. And you'd be surprised how often that really happens, because a lot of guys just want to make their own sheaths, want to mess around with themselves, I guess. Or it just ends up getting displayed on a shelf. So this one is Kwaiken Gen 3. I think what I'm going to do with the newer Kwaiken is maybe add an extra inch to the tip. So it's a 5-inch blade versus a 4-inch blade. But this one here, it's got a, I want to call it the bar-sized katana wrap, because it's not quite a katana wrap, but it's close. It's got a similar effect going on to it, because the traditional katana wrap doesn't really like the paracord I use all that much, so it's similar, just a little bit less of a twist in the pattern. And this one's actually a black over wrap, and it's a navy blue under wrap. But the thing about the navy blue is when I put the epoxy into it, it got incredibly dark, so it looks almost black. Unless you get it in the right lighting, it's got a pretty much black effect to it, which I'm not all that happy about, but then again, there's not much I can do about it. Of course, chisel grind on this one, you got that nice Japanese style, what is it called? Compound grind onto it, rounded spine and everything. CPM 154cm. And the thing about 154cm is it gets really dark when you acid stone wash it. So I do that to it, and it gets incredibly dark, darker than I can get ABL, which is nice. Not as dark as say like 01 or 1084, but it's definitely up there. Like for instance 1084, you can get that thing almost black if you get the right stuff. This one, I can't get it almost black, but I can get it really nice and dark. Nice maker's mark on there, acid stone washed, and yeah, sharp as shit like all the others. So yeah, that's the lot. And I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I do have a build video coming up next week, probably, depending how the editing goes. That's really where it takes most time, is editing, because I'm not very... That's not good. I'm not all that great at editing, so every now and then it takes me like forever to get a knife done. And we are out of focus. There we go. There we go. That's better. That's the money shot. Apparently we have wolves out here now. Lovely. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the build video next week. Till then.